Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Matt Springer. He's with the University of Kentucky Extension Wildlife Specialist there. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Joanna.
Now, Matt, today we're going to talk a little bit about hunting leases. They become very popular. And, I think people might have questions about leases, maybe, how do you find people to lease the farm, regulations, all those different types of things. And you're going to kind of clear some of those up for us today.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to supplement your income on your farm, a passive income in many ways. And there's definitely quite a thriving market for it, especially in your region. We're seeing an uptick across the nation in hunt leasing in general. But it's, there's a few things that, your landowner really does need to know, especially on the liability side that I want to touch on here.
You're inviting people onto your farm to hunt. They pay a fee, but that doesn't release you of that liability.
Actually, that fee is what gives you the liability. So there's regulatory statutes that protect you if you just let people on your property and don't charge them a fee. There's a recreational statute that all you basically have to do is, if you know there's like a sinkhole on your property, you just let them awareness of any kind of potential risks. However, if you are unaware of any risk and something happens to them, you're completely protected. Or their actions cause a problem, you're completely protected. But as soon as you accept a penny, you're then liable for anything that happens on your property.
And so how would you suggest people come up with a contract when they're involved with the hunting leases?
Sure. So you always want to have a contract when you're leasing your property out for many reasons. Mostly so, if hunters decide not to pay you, or on the hunting, if you're the hunter side, you want to make sure you have your access written out in case they try to double lease or give access to other folks. So you want to make sure you have everything written on paper, outlining the property. Make sure that there's a little clause in there about abiding by all state regulations and game laws, because you don't want to have folks on there that are causing a problem and doing illegal actions. Then you also want to make sure you talk about having hunt lease insurance. And what hunt lease insurance is basically, think of it as homeowners insurance for allowing people on your property to hunt. It's a insurance plan that if something would happen where your hunters either get hurt or they break something, the insurance will then cover it. And usually there's coverages up to about $1 million, which would be about sufficient. And it's relatively cheap. It's nowhere close to what you pay for, a house or a car. And honestly, if you're the person renting your farm, you want to make the hunters pay for it and make sure that they're paying to cover their own actions on your property.
Okay, but that's good to know, because you don't want to go into a lease agreement without that and then something happen. It's a costly mistake to have to learn from.
Oh, it can be very costly, including losing your property. When you think about, the medical bills that could add up from either someone falling out of a tree stand, making sure that your ATVs are covered, and use of ATVs, because that's a common item hunters will use to get around properties. And there's a lot of accidents associated with ATVs and hunting. It's actually probably the number one way hunters get hurt. Or worst comes to worst, and really the nightmare scenario is that one of your hunters either inflicts a gunshot wound on themselves or someone outside of the property or on your property that was there. That's, you want to make sure that your insurance covers all those potential things.
Absolutely. Now, do we have examples of hunting leases or maybe some guidance for that?
Sure. If you reach out and contact me, I have a guidance form. Also, you should have a list of items that should be included on any kind of hunt lease, right? And if you need more descriptions, please reach out. I'm happy to talk about them. So there's definitely many things that you need to have in an actual lease.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. It's a good option for landowners to have that, but you want to make sure that you follow all the guidelines and stay protected. And Matt, certainly appreciate you joining us today and reminding us of those things. And so if you have questions, we always encourage you to meet with legal counsel on that, because we're certainly not lawyers, but we would encourage you to do that and can give you some guidance for that. So thanks, Matt, for joining us, and we appreciate you watching the Farm and Home Show, and we hope you have a great day.